American Gladiator was one of the best. It was one of the most fun shows to watch.
Man down.
It was gonna it was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, we made it this far. Yeah.
Good job, Flash.
Yeah. This is Geek Off The Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hey, we are back.
That time again.
As always.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. My name's Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this is
Geek Off The Street.
Great bucks of all time. Talk about geek culture, pop culture, whatever else we want. This week's no exception, as we are taking a few steps back.
Yeah. Or
but
maybe
not in a bad way.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody went through time.
Ooh.
And this is like a shift, and this is like an alternate reality thing going
caused
on
by
somebody doing something they weren't supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
And you're probably thinking, like, what are these guys talking about right now?
Yeah.
And I get it. I
get that. Yeah, but this week we are taking we're talking about the Flashpoint Paradox movie, and also a bit of the comic book, the Flashpoint comic, which was inspired it.
Yes. Now, we talked about the movie a little while ago.
The Flash movie.
Yes, the Flash movie that this was
which
heavily
really
based
is
on.
3 steps removed, because this goes comic book,
it's been a minute,
Flashbook Paradox, Flashpoint Paradox, which was the movie inspired by the comic, and then the Flash movie, which is the movie inspired by the movie inspired by the comic book. Yeah.
Wow.
Getting really heavy here.
Your mind right now.
So, which is why it seems so diluted.
Yeah. Now it's all making sense. Now it's making sense.
But anyway, we're getting into, mostly Flashpoint Paradox, the 2013.
Yes, 2013 DC animated movie.
Yeah.
It's on Max.
It is.
HBO Max, whatever you want to call it right now.
Yeah, so we wanted to come back and kind of do like what's the one I'm looking for here? Kind of like
a redux.
A redux, kind of like a reassurance of where the source material came from, so you guys kind of know like the better part, I guess.
And we are going to discuss it definitely, but I think we both agree this animated movie was much better.
Yeah.
Than the actual movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
100%.
No disrespect to the guys that made that movie and everybody involved with it, but this was just a much better story. And I will say this too, actually because I watched it before, but having watched this again, I do have a little bit more of a respect for the movie. I know that's going to be shocking, right? Because this was clearly better, so you should like that one less. Right. But I think I like what they were trying to do.
Gotcha.
So
we'll get into that. After we talk about what we're drinking and how we're doing this week.
How we doing? Tell them what we're drinking, because this is a bit all right.
This is called the Gotham Martini, and
it's blue. It's shimmery for everybody listening and not watching.
I'll put in the show notes where I got the recipe from. But I'm blanking on the name of the website. But this is Gotham. It's called the Gotham Martini. It's got blue curacao, citron vodka. Lemon juice, and some peach schnapps.
And some love.
Yeah, so that as well. We're drinking them out of our God's glasses. It's supposed to be in a martini glass, but these are way better. So.
Exactly, amen.
Yeah.
To Kenji. Yeah, nicely done. I'm going to take another sip right now. Everybody listen to us drink.
To get the little extra
very good.
Slurpy gurgle in there. Slurpy gurgle.
No dead air. No dead air.
This is pretty tasty. You'll see the short... come out about this so you can make it yourself.
Yep.
But it's pretty tasty. It has a great color.
And FYI, we normally have different coasters.
Yeah.
Normally we have our
Sharingan.
Our Sharingan coasters, but I have another coaster over here.
Yeah.
This is a shout out to Gus. I got my GOTS coaster over here.
Sweet.
See, we're thinking of you, Gus. We love you.
Thanks, Gus.
There you go.
My arch nemesis. He's been a little quiet though for the last couple of years.
You guys are going to get together and just be like bosom buddies.
I feel like he's an arch nemesis because he's like said 2 things about me like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, like not even not about you, just like about something that you're into or something that
something
you
I said. Yeah, which was like a long time ago.
Right.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, for what it's worth though, he talks shit about everybody.
Gotcha.
That's just how he shows.
And
love,
I hold grudges, so
you guys,
good or bad combination. option you choose.
It's gonna be fun either way. We'll get guests on the show. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
But yeah, otherwise, not much. Just working a lot this week.
Cool.
And man, I didn't do anything again. Wow, I
didn't watch anything, or you didn't do anything?
I didn't really do anything. I don't think I had kind of a shorter weekend. So yeah, not much on this side.
I can dig
How about you?
Well, I did go hang out with some friends of mine. We went to Disneyland.
Hey, cool.
So very cool. I have a new lightsaber.
Did you?
I got a new lightsaber. I will show it to you. Well, maybe I'll
maybe on the air next week.
Yeah. Because this one, once because I've got a couple of lightsabers already. So when I heard about this one, the guy was doing the breakdown of it, I thought, that sounds interesting. Let me get that. So I did. So that was cool. Like I said, went with some friends.
Yeah.
That I always hang out with whenever I go to Disneyland. I go with them. So what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
It was a good time. There was a section in Disneyland, which I was unaware of, that you can kind of, rent space or whatever. So you can go, it's in Tomorrowland, and it's kind of it's right above like the entrance, so to speak, to Tomorrowland. And you can go up there and just hang out there. It's like a reserved table.
Oh, really?
That you can, yeah. I was unaware they had something like that, but I think it comes like once you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But you get food with it. You get food and drink and a dessert with it.
Oh.
You get to go upstairs on this like mezzanine type area, and then they have a bunch of drinks up there. The drinks are free.
Oh, really?
So like Coke, Sprite, blah blah blah, coffee, hot chocolate, yada yada, water, whatever. Yeah, it's really. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And I think the trick is, or the thing is, I want to say it opens at 5. So I think 5 p.m. I think I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. But you can go up there. I think people were going up there and just leaving their stuff up there and taking off and coming back. So
wow.
It's pretty cool because at Disneyland there's like no place to sit and just kind of chill and watch stuff.
Right.
We had a great view of the fireworks and everything.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't too shabby.
Sweet.
It wasn't too shabby.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I hung out with my friends. They know who they are. What's up? I call them the blue bubbles. They know why.
Bubbles, yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, we had a good time. It was very cool.
Nice. Cool. Very cool. Sounds like fun, man.
Yeah.
Mostly nice to not be blacked out during the summertime.
Oh, so, yeah, you got to get that inspired pass.
I can't go back until like third week of August, I think.
Right on.
Yeah. Did you guys get to see Rogers or no?
No, we didn't. Apparently there is it's a whole thing to get in there, and you need to like get there early. Very early, like when the gates open kind of thing. You need to already be in line.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like a Black Friday kind of situation. So,
gotcha.
But I definitely do. We want to go and do that and see that and check that out. So I'm looking forward to that. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I only have one shot to do it because I think it ends after August. But you can only get in. I think the last 2 weeks of August. I think I'm not blacked out. So
okay.
I gotta like get in there.
Yeah.
And like see
so clearly
it.
We need to make that happen ahead of time too.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then 4th of July, happy 4th of July. 4th of July went down.
Yeah.
Saw the fireworks. I had family come over and we were able to watch the fireworks from the roof of the house.
Ah, cool.
Because it's where they launched the fireworks is right across the way. So we had a great view.
Very nice.
Very cool. And the baby Lila hated it.
Oh,
I guess it was too loud. She kept saying, "Let's go inside. Let's go inside." She wasn't crying or anything crazy like that, but she was clearly put out. It's like, look at the bright colors.
Those bright colors, though.
Yeah, it's like she wasn't looking.
Wasn't having it.
What can you do?
My niece, when we went to the beach for my dad's birthday, did not like the waves. And she just kept saying, "How can we get out of here? How can we get out of here?"
How can we get out of here?
Sorry, kid. You're stuck at the beach. She was not a fan of that. So, yeah. But yeah, kids, right? Kids.
They're the worst. I kid about the kids.
Anyway, let's get into the show a little bit.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Some shout-outs, I guess, huh?
Yeah, do a shout-out.
Yeah, we got quite a few new subscribers on Instagram, man. You guys have been following us. I don't know if you guys are listening to me or I don't know.
Whatever works.
Or content's just good. I'm going to go with both because I'm the person to listen to.
He said modestly.
Yeah. Cool. Shout outs to Don't Fly This at Home. It's a clothing brand.
Interesting.
Thanks for following us, Daniel Guzman. That's the guy I knew from high school.
Hey, cool.
Thanks for the follow, Mr. John Hart from Amazon days. Remember John Hart?
Oh crap! Yeah. Oh my God, John. Man,
John,
thanks.
good old John Hart is a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Followed us. The Real Malik, I think, is a videographer.
Oh, cool.
Thanks for the follow. Good Boys Gone Bland, a podcast, I think, and then Anime Banter podcast.
Wow.
Trap 760, that's Trap from my old church, I think. William SSZN, thanks for following us. Dissect That Film, another podcast, and that's gonna be it for now.
Nice.
So a lot of followers.
Yeah, I know they listen to a lot of these podcasts.
Yeah,
I want to hear them.
Yeah, same. So
Yeah, thanks all the podcasts.
yeah, specifically, thank you for following us.
But everybody,
yeah, and old friends and stuff too. Appreciate you guys checking us out, and that's means a lot. Cool. All right, let's get into this podcast, then, huh?
Definitely.
In this episode, let's talk about some Flashpoint Paradox and Flashpoint. So the comic book originally came out in 2011, I believe.
Really?
It was written by Jeff Johns, pretty famous comic book writer. Also, he wrote The Blackest Night, which is a big one.
Okay, yeah.
I think he created like Stargirl, created some characters.
Wow,
that were
really?
pretty big. And then and now I think he's like a kind of a producer in the cinematic side of things.
Okay.
So
yeah, he's clearly earned it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of got some big he got some big credits. So, and it's written by, drawn by, I think, Andy Kubert. Those two Kuberts, two brothers, but I think Andy Kubert's the one who did the pencils. So, yeah, it's a big deal, big crossover. It kind of ended an entire era of comic books and led into what was called the New 52.
Okay.
Around the same time, 2011, 2012. And that was pretty awesome. New 52.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like it, I guess, because they did a lot of changes, I guess, to some of the characters.
Right.
But I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a fresh start. Everyone was like young again, like first starting out. A lot of their first adventures. That was where like the Court of Owls premiered in Batman. That was like a great storyline. The Justice League run was pretty cool, which inspired Justice League War, the animated movie. So there's a lot of cool things in New 52. I liked it a lot. And it probably helped that I was around. I was kind of really into comics at that point because I had just started reading a couple years before.
Okay. So that's kind of, that's something
it kind of
fairly new for you, essentially. Yeah.
But it's kind of easy to get into because it was like literally 52 new books, all starting at issue number 1. So it's kind of easy to get involved or kind of pick up where they were at, you know?
You weren't left in the dust or whatever, picking up like issue, 704.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a 704 issue long story or not, but so it's kind of a cool era of comic books that came out, and I think I really enjoyed New 52. But Flashpoint was what reset everything and led into that.
Okay.
The last final like arc, I guess, for that era. Basically, it's about Barry going back and saving his mom.
Yeah, same thing as the movie. Hopefully, you have seen the movie at this point in time. If you want to. The movie that's in the theaters currently that has come out, so you kind of get an idea or a concept of what's going on. He goes back in time, rewrites things, saves his mom. There are consequences for it. Yeah. In this one, same situation, obviously, but the story is told. It's told so well. Yeah. Man, everything really from beginning to end, it hooks you immediately. You know what I mean? And I watching this and then thinking about the movie, I like I said, I see why they did certain things that they did in the movie. But then I also look at this animated movie and I'm thinking, wow, there are things that you 100% could have done, or maybe just looking at it, there were things that I said, oh, this would have worked if they had done this. Yeah, so that movie was fantastic. It was great. Yeah. And they
funny you say that because they had some of the roster or a lot of the roster in the live action movies, at this point. There were enough of them to do some more things with these characters. And they kind of didn't really do that at all. Yeah.
I wonder why. Because now that you think about it, right? Like, why didn't they bring in Aquaman? Why didn't they bring in Wonder Woman? Why didn't they do?
Yeah, why didn't they do something that is even a little bit closer to that, right? Because they could have gave them roles in this movie,
right?
But
that
made them
probably would have been a great hook,
yeah, right. But made them completely different,
right? And people See, now I'm thinking too, because I really didn't think about that bringing them in for that movie, but what if they had done that and they had turned Wonder Woman, who was this, this
golden girl.
Yeah, exactly. This great, and then she is just an uber bitch.
Right, yeah. Super warrior.
Yeah.
Like she's in the gun. Like she's just murdering kids and killing everybody.
She was. Yeah, she was.
Yeah. So
that would have blown people away.
Right.
And it would have been a great opportunity for those actors to do something different with that role they're actors. They want to act. So they could have and everybody typically seems like they like playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's fun,
and for the most part, these guys were all bad guys. They have their own reasons, their own logics for what they were doing, but they were all bad guys. Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And they each had their own army and they were at war with each other. And the consequence of these two powers at war.
Yeah. Destroying the whole world. Yeah.
The whole world's getting destroyed.
Yeah, which is what a great dynamic that would have been to show, like they showed Wonder Woman in the beginning of the movie, like saving them and helping them out.
Yeah, that was great too.
Yeah, but then the next time you see her, she's completely different.
Not that person.
And then like that end credit scene, which I thought was kind of whatever with Barry and
Batman?
Aquaman. The post
in the movie.
The post credit scene.
Live action.
Like it would have been way better if Barry was telling him the story of what happened.
Yeah.
If he was actually a part of it.
Yeah.
And then you were chopping people's heads off and and I was whatever,
Right,
and I had to fight you, and then now we're in the bar drinking beers, and then
I would have been engaged in that movie. 100%, even up to that point.
Right.
Because then I'm thinking like, holy shit, he's telling him about all this this dark side. Like this is you in a different time, a different place.
Exactly.
This is you.
Right, yeah. And they could have gone, and it didn't even have to be, it wouldn't even have to be a big war. Like that they didn't want to go that route.
Yeah.
It could have been like a Civil War situation where the heroes are fighting each other or something. I don't know.
I hear you.
It could have been anything. It could have been scaled down a little bit if they had to, that would have been fine. But
because that was always my thinking too, is like you can't go the same scale exactly because in the comic books, there's a lot more to draw from, a lot more characters,
a lot more established.
Exactly.
For comic book readers to accept, I know all these characters, I know who they usually are.
Right, and if you just threw all those in to a movie,
be kind of hard for a regular moviegoers.
It's a little jarring. Right.
Yeah, but if you take characters that the movie audience already knows and flip them over, man.
Wow,
dude, we should have wrote this movie
a lot of lost opportunities with this movie.
Yeah, how do they keep up with these great ideas? Studios, hire us.
We are right here just talking about it.
Right,
like this is all impromptu stuff. There's no like you say this and I'll say that.
Yeah,
we're just like bouncing shit off like in the moment, and we're coming up with better ideas than what the. Hey, so shut up.
Yeah.
So,
right, but so I mean, there were a lot of opportunities, and that's and I don't ever want to accuse the filmmakers of the Flash film of being lazy or being whatever, not talented or whatever the case is, or not creative, but I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah.
But just seeing it feels like it comes off as lazy.
Yeah.
Like using Zod and using these other events and making a second Barry to add kind of whatever comedy / I don't know, heartfelt stuff to do with the mom, that kind of whatever. Like do all that stuff, that's fine. But I don't know. There are a lot more things they could have done with the Flash movie.
Yeah.
Based on going back and watching Flashpoint Paradox. Yeah.
And I don't know, but I think an issue is, I don't know, that if they were to make it, I don't know if they made it too close to the Flashpoint thing, that they would have to pay somebody else, or I don't know. I think there is an issue. Like I know it came up with the Star Wars movies. They couldn't tell certain stories because it's already been told someplace else, and if they told that story, it's like, oh, that was my story, give me money for it.
I see.
Which I say, if it's a good story, just effing give them some money
Right,
and tell a good story.
Yeah.
As opposed to paying somebody probably twice as much that you would have paid them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if somebody writes a book, we're going a little bit off tangent. Somebody writes a book and they, it's this great, supposedly it's canon.
Yeah.
And then someone wants to make their own version of it, talking about Star Wars. Like normally, if someone is like a first-time screenwriter or they're getting some sort of credits, you don't have to pay them a lot because they're brand new.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So you don't have to give them like $1 million, or I don't even think you have to give them like $500,000.
Yeah.
It's a fairly low, amount, as opposed to getting all these expensive writers and paying them, up, millions of dollars spread out.
Yeah.
Even if you write a story and it's not picked up or whatever, I think they still get some sort of, money for
some kind of,
yeah, they get something for it.
Yeah, for it. Yeah, if it's like if the script can be bought or I guess optioned.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's gonna get made.
Right.
But they'll still get the check for the rights to it, basically. Yeah. But I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But yeah, tons of missed opportunities. I think, I read the comic book, most of it again.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to the movie. There's some things here that are a little bit, but even some of the dialogue is like the same. Like Batman talking about lightning not striking twice. That's straight out of the book. There's a lot of like the parts with Lois when she's running away from the Amazons. Like the dialogue is the same in a lot of ways. So they really do. The anime, that's the thing with the anime movies, they do a really good job of adapting the comic books.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They could have even made that movie, the live action movie. They could have maybe even made that like a 2-parter and kind of do it like an in-game situation. That could have been like their in-game esque kind of moment,
They wanted to handle it the right way. But they were just
crazy.
trying to make money and get it out.
I don't get it.
Yeah, really weird.
But this movie beginning to end was great. I'm trying to think any like other positives you got for it.
I don't know.
Like everything. It's just like
the scale of it, the characters, how different they are. It's kind of like one of those like an Elseworlds tale kind of thing, which makes it interesting to see your characters in different light.
Yeah,
I think that does that really well. I think that's like a very interesting way to tell stories about established characters. Kind of show them the opposite of who they usually are.
Yeah.
In a alternate.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because you get to see an element of that character. Where if things played out a little bit differently in their life, that's the situation for everybody. You know what I mean? If something goes a little bit different, it starts this chain of reaction within your life and how it changes your life and how you interact with other people.
Yeah.
Relationships that maybe will last longer or don't get started at all. All that affects you. And it ultimately, it can make you somewhat of a different person. So it's great to see that. It's great to see that. That's, I don't know if you were a big fan of the Walking Dead TV series. I think you said at first, like the first couple seasons, you weren't impressed.
I only watched the first season.
Okay.
And I got bored towards the end of that first season.
Got it.
I think the lab thing was a little boring for me. But
okay.
Yeah.
I guess my point is that the characters, that live in the series die in the comic book and vice versa. And
right.
So you get to see these same characters, like they're, but just in different situations. So you get to kind of see how a wrong choice can make them be a different person. I like seeing, people in that kind of light.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Definitely.
And they did it big time in that animated movie. Again, looking at Aquaman and Wonder Woman, like they're heroes, and now they're
even like Superman's a lot different too as well. But exactly. Yeah, pretty cool. There's actually a great moment in the end of the comic book. I don't think they did in the movie, but when Flash is there's no like big bomb at the end of the comic book.
Yeah.
But Barry is starting to forget the memories of the other
because
universe.
The current one, he says that in the animated movie.
Yeah, the animated
he does
movie,
say, they're starting to kind of overlap or push out.
So the crisis becomes that. So there's still the war is still going on basically, and everyone's just is dying like in the comic book, in the movie. They're all starting to die. But Batman, kills Thrawn, and then Thrawn.
Yeah, Eobard.
Yeah. 20th century name. Yeah. He kills him and then tells him to run because he's starting to lose the memories. Like, so the crisis is that his memories are going away.
Interesting.
So, not the bomb really.
Wow.
But so Batman's just like, or Thomas is like,
really
right. Yeah.
very like meta.
Right. Yeah. So Thomas is like, you need to run now. Like run now. And then and so he takes off with the letter. Takes off with the letter.
Yeah.
And he takes off running after the other Barry, but he somehow ends up in this kind of weird alternate space with his mom. And his mom knows everything about him, like knows that he's Flash and knows that he changed the universe.
Wow.
So he has this great conversation with his mom, and this great heartfelt scene, kind of similar to the movie, where like she tells
the
him,
live action.
Live action. So where she tells him he has to let her go. Like you have to leave.
Wow.
And there's this great scene where they're like, oh, I don't want to leave. She's like, I don't want you to leave either, but we have to save the universe.
Wow.
And so she sends him off, and then so he basically leaves, but he still has the memories. He gets to keep the memories for some reason. Yeah. And so that there's a great so point being is that the comic book and also the movie too, but like the comic book it hit on all those points. Hit like the great multiverse crisis, all the action, the crazy changes, but also had that really deep heartfelt. Like the whole point of the story was that he changed it, realized that he shouldn't have changed it,
right,
and then had to go back and set things right again,
right.
While knowing he's gonna lose his mom, which is phenomenal. It's a great circular. Like,
so depressing,
right? It's sad, but it's like that's what it takes to be a hero, kind of.
Yeah.
That's who and the consequences, and things have to be the way they are.
And I love that scene in the live action movie where he's talking to
his mom.
Yeah, where he's talking to his mom.
Yeah,
I mean I thought it was a great moment. So
that's one of the best parts.
It is.
To
it
me
is. Yeah,
in the movie. Yeah. But again, I think we already talked about it. I don't want to go too far into it, but that he changes it for his dad though.
Yeah, true.
Which like he didn't learn anything, and that doesn't happen in the comic book. Like he goes back, definitely. Sets it, restarts it, and
the dad wasn't even mentioned in the animated movie. They weren't even.
I don't think he's even a part of.
Yeah, it seems like he's not even part of the equation.
Yeah, and then this is like obviously the comic book and the movie version of Barry's a little bit older.
Yeah,
he's not the same age as the one in the live action movie. So makes sense to see him in a different part of his life. Yeah. But yeah, it feels, I don't know, it just feels better when you have to make that sacrifice.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no like for the greater good, essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is like being a hero, is making that that tough decision, that difficult decision.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's as difficult. That's very difficult. That's as difficult as it gets. You know what I mean? To save your mother, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's funny too, because even Eobard Reverse Flash calls him out on it in that animated movie. Like you didn't go back and save JFK. You didn't go back and make sure Hitler stayed in art school. You went back and saved your mom.
Right,
like, pretty selfish.
Yeah.
Calls him out on it as like,
I like that. And it's kind of the same in the comic book. And he says that when he says you're a greater villain than I could ever be, kind of thing. And I was like,
look
damn.
at you did.
Yeah, and he's like, but that's a shock moment. It's like, oh, you're the bad guy. And then as the first time watcher, the first time reader, you don't know, because Barry wakes up. He just wakes up in this new.
Which that's another thing I like too. That was fantastic, because that could have been a mystery that we all were going on. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it starts off in the animated movie. And they could have done that with a live action. I mean, that would have been great if he just wakes up and everything's different. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's thinking about doing something, and then he wakes up and everything's different. Yeah. And it's like,
we don't know, and he doesn't know.
And we don't know. Exactly.
And we're following along with that.
We all go on that. We go on that adventure together. Right. That mystery together.
Man, like what?
That would have been gold.
Yeah, that would have been way better. Yeah.
That would have been gold.
Yeah, because then if you're guessing the whole time too, like, oh shit, what's going on? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you're sitting there, all the clues that he's gathering, you're waiting for him to gather it. Yeah. And you're sitting here trying to think, like, what's going on? Like, who did it? Who did it? Who did it?
Right.
And then you're thinking, Reverse Flash. Like, at some point, you're like, he did it. And he's like, I didn't do it.
Right, yeah. And the whole time, Barry thinks that, and then you, as the audience member, thinks
some bad guy did something.
Of course, Reverse Flash is going to be the guy that does this.
Right.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when you find out Barry's the one who actually did it, it's like, oh, shit.
Right. And then he just doesn't remember it because of all the, time whatever thing.
Yeah, because the memory thing.
It makes sense. It would make sense. It would have jived.
Man, what a great that's so
what
good.
a great opportunity.
Yeah,
great opportunity
to tell that same story too, and man, they did not take that.
Yeah,
did not take it. Yeah.
Another thing I like too, and I really don't want to get off that topic, I suppose, but another thing that I liked about it too that I'm just remembering was I did like the explanation for the effect that when you time travel and change something, the effect that it has. I did like the spaghetti analogy.
Yeah.
I actually like that. That, you took this and you think you're just bending one thing, but you're bending a whole thing.
Yeah.
And they had another great explanation for it in this animated movie as well. When you create a time boom, it's like creating a sonic boom. And a sonic boom just doesn't go in one direction. It goes out.
Right.
I thought that was a fantastic explanation as to why things are different. Why when Kal-El landed, he just flew right over Smallville and he crashed into Metropolis. Yeah. Like a meteor crashed into Metropolis.
Killed a bunch of people, yeah.
It killed a bunch of people. And,
yeah.
So that was I thought that was great storytelling, essentially. It's
Yeah.
I like that explanation. I like it. Like I said, I did like the spaghetti analogy too, but that's another way to say it, and it fits. It makes sense. Like you create an explosion doesn't go in one direction. It goes all out, and sometimes it's little and subtle things, but it does make a difference. It changes.
Definitely, yeah. Was there anything else you liked about it, or anything you want to get into? Do we dislike anything about it?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Wow, you know what? I thought I had something, but it wasn't anything major. Oh man, I can't think of it right now. And it was just something kind of like minor or something like it's not that big a deal. Maybe I'll think of it later. But overall, it's a fantastic movie. I honestly can't think of too much that is wrong with it. Yeah. I like that in this. This isn't a spoiler. It doesn't really come into play too much, but I like that when the Waynes had their situation, it wasn't the parents that were killed, it was Bruce Wayne as a child that was killed.
Right, yeah.
So that was like, I never even thought of that being a thing you could do.
Yeah.
And then it's the parents. And I remember hearing about this like back in the day when this was going on. Like they were saying like, the Joker is, and this is somebody only hearing and so here, don't do this, people. If you hear like a piece of something, don't go out there and start spouting and like, oh, this is what's going on, because people were going around saying the Joker is Batman's mom or whatever. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean right now?
Yeah.
And that's just telling like a part of the story.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening in the animated movie and the comic book is his mom goes crazy.
Yeah.
And she ends up becoming the Joker of that alternate reality.
Yeah.
And then Thomas Wayne becomes the Batman.
Right.
Of that reality. He was a great Batman.
Yeah, great. Yeah. The one that does cross the line. Yeah.
Yeah. I got no issues with it.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, he uses guns and stuff.
Yeah, he's using guns. Yeah, he's clearly not at, Bruce Wayne's level.
Yeah.
Not by any stretch, but he's still very smart.
Yeah.
I like that he makes his money from a casino.
Yeah.
That's why he's so rich.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. He's actually a doctor as well. He was a doctor.
Yeah, he was a doctor. Yeah. Not a great what he says, or not anymore, because I guess he's kind of hung up his scalpel or whatever.
But that was kind of an interesting moment too, to see his mom snap right there on the spot.
Yeah, right there on the spot. Yeah. And you see her, she starts to laugh as she's holding his, her dead son, and she's got the blood on her face. And it's like, jeez.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I actually had forgotten that in that universe she's the Joker.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, oh, that's an interesting concept.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too that it seems like they have introduced that his mother has some sort of mental issues.
Yeah,
I guess that's kind of canon now, because even I think in the new Batman movie, or the Batman, or whatever, the one with fucking
Pattinson.
Yeah. like they were saying, like I think in that one they said that his mom
I think it's even been since like the Arkham Asylum comic book in like 2012, 2011 that his mom is in Arkham. Like she is related. Wow. She's related to the family.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. She's so which is like I guess I mean they run the insane asylum, but insanity runs in the family too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Wow, that's really crazy.
Yeah. Right.
There.
Another layer. Yeah. Another layer to
this Batman shit's just getting
better
and better.
Yeah. Right. The layers to Batman. Yeah.
How crazy is that? Who thought of that? Like, hey, it's not just Thomas Wayne is like rich and he's a big guy. Let's make the wife rich and famous too. And it makes sense that they would because they are so rich, it seems,
elite,
that it would come from both. It would come from both sides of the family. And then for all the things to say, do we want to say she's related to this, related to that? She's done this. No, let's link her to Arkham.
Yeah.
And then it's like the crazy people are like, we'll run the crazy factory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's great. That's that's the best way to stay out of the crazy factory.
Right, yeah. And which ties into that theory of like Batman is Batman.
Exactly.
Or the argument is Batman crazy too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
Which really, the argument can be that he isn't insane, He's insane.
Right.
Yeah. Even to the point like if it's crazy as far as his obsession with the Bat and with what he's doing.
Right, yeah.
Or actually insane.
Yeah.
Like actually insane. Because I think that the Arkham Asylum graphic novel has him going through the Arkham Asylum basically and dealing with different villains. Yeah. And like the theory is that like each of the villains is just a part of his psyche kind of thing,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's all those crazy so this kind of adds to the mythos of who Batman is and what makes him tick.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. And what a complicated character, man.
Right, big time.
Yeah.
And he's still playing a role even in this alternate reality. So man, it's one of those things where I knew I had some sort of little nitpick with it, and it was just something that I wish, or maybe it was just the fact that I wish they would have. I think that's what it was actually. Yeah, I wish they would have let us go on that mystery with Barry figuring out. Yeah, what was going on. As opposed to kind of. They kind of made it seem like he wasn't to blame. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was, I think, my big thing that we could have milked that more. Another thing I like too, I like the beginning of this animated movie where you see the superheroes are basically they're saving everybody. They're saving the city, but they're really saving the bad guys. The bad guys have bombs attached to them, and I love that. Each of the heroes takes a bad guy, separates with them.
Yeah, it just solves it.
And they basically save the bad guys. I thought that was great, as opposed to like in Invincible, there was a scene where the Immortal is fighting somebody. It's just a little small scene. And the guy's got bombs on him, and the Immortal grabs him and throws him into space, or just throws him like way up in the sky. And he's like, when you're in doubt, throw him into space. That's literally what the Immortal says. So they could have done that. They could have been like space. But I like that
solves our problem.
They're heroes, and they saved the villains. It was this cool moment of them saving these villains. I love that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and they showed how seasoned they were too.
Yeah,
they
big time. They all have their little cool way to do it. Right.
Yeah. Each one of them cracked me up too. Like Superman was just holding it.
Yeah, and he had a smirk on his face too.
I love that. He's like, the waiting's the hardest part. I was like,
wow. Yeah, I know. He was cool about it. Yeah, man, that was actually very cool.
Yeah,
he must have just been chilling. He was off for work a couple days, and he was just having a good time.
Yeah.
But there was one part where he's holding the bomb in his hands and he's got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. Stop being Superman. Stop showing off.
There was one thing that I had thought that came into my mind was that there's like when he's fighting the rogues, Flash in the museum.
Yeah.
This has always bothered me about Flash is that like, how could anybody fight someone who's going that fast?
Exactly. And that's their mind is going that fast. Maybe it wasn't established at that point in time. Maybe somebody later on, because now, and I was having this conversation with CJ just a couple days ago. That his mind works so fast, like he can literally be shot in the head, and he's hyper aware of it, and he can like. Move out of the way so it doesn't, kill him or whatever. You know what I mean?
Dematerialize
or whatever he needs to do.
His
His reaction time is just it's infinite. So yeah, I agree.
Right,
I
because
agree.
there's one part where he's like running around and then he stops with the guy with the swords and he's fighting hand to hand with him.
Yeah, Boomerang and Captain Boomerang like lands a hit on him.
Yeah, I was like, why are you
huh?
why are you stopping? Like, why are you stopping to fight these guys like hand to hand at their speed when that shouldn't even be a yeah.
And that's the thing too. I mean, they always it's essentially it's a plot hole. It's a big plot hole that and it's one of those things like with Superman even too. I think people kept saying like, you're fighting Doomsday. Why didn't you throw him into space? Why didn't you just do something like that with him? Why, and it's the same thing with Flash fighting these regular people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm trying to find a way to justify it, and there really isn't much of one. Like maybe they got experience with him and they know, he's going to do this and do that, and he's going to be over here.
Yeah.
So instead of aiming at him, you aim way to the right and you hope he's going to, but even then, if that happens, he is so aware of it.
He's so far ahead of you.
He's so far ahead, right? And everything's moving in slow motion to him, essentially, you would think. So, I mean, otherwise, though, it'd be a pretty boring character. You'd be too OP'd. You couldn't do anything with him.
True.
So they got to do this weird thing.
Where somehow they get some hits on him.
Somehow they get him. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking about. And then I don't know, there were a couple of, I'm trying to think specifically. There's some scenes where things kind of seem moving a little fast.
Yeah.
I think obviously you have more time in the comic book to take your time telling the story, filling in those blanks. So a lot of the scenes kind of jumped pretty quick.
Yeah.
From as I was watching it, and then I read it right after, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm seeing where the holes were kind of just because for sake of time, there's a time with movies it's a little harder to pack as many things in, and you kind of have to get to the point, especially with the animated movies. And I get it, but I mean that was basically it. Just some things were a little rushed in comparison to the comic book, because the comic books are really, really good. So
right.
But other than that, though, I really don't have any problems with the movie. Like I would recommend it forever.
Yeah, definitely. This was it was fantastic. And speaking of rushing things within the movies, especially the animated movies, there is another. I wouldn't call it a sequel, but there is a movie that came out in 2020. DC animated movie, and it is called Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Okay.
So with that one, I think there were some things that, again, that felt like it was a little rushed. But a second DC movie was the one that we were talking about. I didn't look it up. It was called
the Doom that came to Gotham.
Doom that came to Gotham. Yeah. It almost seemed like it was a sequel to the Gaslight thing.
Oh yeah.
But I think it takes place, a little bit too much further down the line to be linked directly to the Gaslight thing. But it essentially takes place in the 20s, and it feels like it is something that they rush through.
Oh, really?
A lot. Because they kept hitting on all these different, things. Yeah. They would throw it in here and it would be done, or they throw it in here and nothing would come of it. And there's this and there's this and there's this. There's probably like 20 different. Well, I'm exaggerating right now, but there's just a whole bunch of things they throw in there, and they don't really explore it. They just put it in there, and that's kind of the end of it. Really? So it's I don't know. With that movie, the only reason why I would recommend it is because it's Batman, and if you like Batman, and again, it's Batman, but it's a different kind of Batman.
Elseworlds kind of Batman.
Yeah, right. It's like I said, it takes place in the 20s and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of, and again, I guess with those kind of things, there are, death is a real thing. You know what I mean? So people that, have long careers in comic books may not have long careers in this movie, but
gotcha.
It wasn't great. But I do recommend definitely is the Apocalypse Dark War thing.
Okay, gotcha.
It kind of feels like it's a sequel to this, or it kind of comes into play, but that one's a great movie. Like things just go horribly wrong. They essentially they attack Darkseid, they attack Apocalypse, and Darkseid wins. Okay. And he beats the hell out of everybody.
Nice.
Beats the hell out of everybody.
Sounds pretty good.
So if you like seeing those things go wrong and Ultimate Doom kind of things,
check that one out.
Yeah, check that one out. You'll like it. So.
Nice.
But yeah, with this particular movie though, the Flash Paradox, Man, I enjoyed it. And another thing that I did not like, I feel like I'm like just all over the place. But one thing that I didn't like, and I don't think I paid that much attention to it in the animated movie when I first saw it, a year or a couple years ago. I definitely noticed it in the Flash movie that came out, and I didn't like it. And I guess it came from the comic book, so that made me a little more receptive of it. But then even in the comic book, I'm like, it still doesn't make sense. The whole thing where he recreates the situation that gave him his powers.
Oh, okay.
I feel like just logically, there are too many variables that went into him getting that power in the first place that you shouldn't be able to just do it again.
Yeah.
That
way he can give it to everybody.
Right. Then everybody could happen. It could happen to everybody. And I guess here's the good and the bad of it. I equate it this way. It's almost like it's like you're going to make a cake. You know what I mean? You have a recipe that you need to follow. If you're going to mix a drink, you have a recipe that you need to follow.
Yeah.
And if you do something out of whack or in the wrong measurements, the drink is going to come out, or the food is going to come out wrong. Anybody that cooks, anybody that prepares anything knows that if you don't have enough this or you add too much of that, you're going to get a different situation.
Yeah.
So when it comes to having certain chemicals, and I'm assuming you had to have these chemicals in the right amount.
Yeah.
The lightning has to hit it the right way. It's got to be the same, I don't know, the same measurement in energy.
Yeah.
The lightning, like all lightning bolts aren't, 1.21 gigawatts. So
the hell's a gigawatt?
What's a gigawatt? What gigawatts? They're not all like that. There's going to be variations, and it's just the fact that, and like I said, so many things it should not have worked. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have so much of chemical, X, in that initial explosion, maybe 4 ounces got on them. If you try to recreate it again, maybe only 2 ounces are going to get on them. So now you're just burnt up,
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing so that was bad. Like just the science of it really doesn't jive.
Yeah.
But here's the flip side of it. One is maybe it is kind of like, but see, it's not going to come out right. It's kind of like a cake. You have all the ingredients and you put it in there. And even if you do it wrong, you're going to get something.
Yeah.
If you put flour, sugar, buttermilk in an oven, you're going to get some kind of cake. It's not going to be good cake. It's not going to be right. So that's whatever. But the other thing I liked about it was I liked that Barry was so committed to what he was doing. Like, I like that hero element to him, that he tried this crazy experiment to get his powers back. It didn't work. He was, burnt up and just jacked up, and he said, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Because that's how committed he was to, fixing things. That's a great hero.
It really proving to Batman or Thomas that everything he's saying is true,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so
definc Nice.
But I heard that. Anything else though? Good, bad?
I don't think so. I think that's about covers it.
Yeah. So I think we both recommend this movie. And here's the thing, because I know I have a friend at work, Dougie. What's up, Dougie?
Dougie.
He's not into animated movies. He's not into anime or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I get it. And there are probably a lot of adults or people that might watch the live action Flash movie and may not be interested in watching an animated movie.
Yeah.
And I would say, here's the thing. The story is the most important thing. Definitely.
Yeah.
The animation is just a medium. That's just a forum for you to take in a great story.
Yeah.
So I would say focus on that. The most important thing is the story that's being told. And if you've watched the Flash movie, I don't want to say you've got no excuse to watch the animated movie, but the animated movie is... It honestly is. It's so much better. It expands on things so much better.
Yeah.
Than the animated movie does. So I 100% recommend it. 100%.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. That's this is for sure a I don't know. Go see it now. Drop what you're doing.
Right. I would definitely put in the drop what you're doing and go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
It is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, here's the other thing. I think I was saying before too. Like, I had a little bit more respect for the live action movie.
Oh yeah.
And I liked it because there was this overhanging thing in the animated movie, and I'm assuming in the comic book as well, of this, the war between these two powers.
Yeah.
And again, there was like a doomsday thing where like a bomb was going to go off, but there was this war that was going on between these two sides that was enveloping the world.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that's essentially what Zod ended up being, because they didn't have a whole lot. I mean, they could have done just literally that.
Yeah.
And have them going at it. But I think they went with the whole impending thing being Zod.
Right.
And I know you didn't like it, but I get it as far as that live action movie is concerned. Like Zod coming to Earth was, like I said, that was a wall that no matter what you do or what you did, you could not surpass it.
Right.
So, I think that's the reason why I have a little more respect for the live action movie, because they looked at the wall that was in the animated one and the wall that was in the comic book and said, we need a wall over here. What's the biggest wall they can't get around?
Yeah.
Would have been Zod.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with the logic of that for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know it wasn't your bag. You didn't.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate the execution.
Sure.
Yeah. I understand the logic of it, though, especially within that universe that's already been established cinematically.
Right.
So,
yeah. There's only so much to pull from. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So drop what you're doing. Go watch it.
For sure.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes gave this thing 100%. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Let me pull it up. Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox on the tomato meter, 100%.
Wow.
Audience score 93%.
Oh, okay.
So that's
pretty high.
That's very high. That's a great score.
High.
That's a great score.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I might give it like a 99. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm sitting up the air. I mean, I try to compare it to other things I've given.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to do, because now I'm thinking Paper Girls?
Yeah, right. Suzume or something like that for me, But yeah, it's for sure like a 92, 93 for me.
Yeah, it's definitely out there.
It's a good movie. Very good movie. And I think
no regrets.
Yeah, I think everybody should check it out.
Yeah.
If you're into anything involving this,
Yeah. Again, this is one of those things. Drop what you're doing and go watch it. It came out in 2013.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago. That's so crazy.
Still holds up really
still
well.
holds up. Still holds up.
Definitely. Cool. That would be it for Flashpoint then?
Yeah, Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Paradox. Go check it out.
Definitely check it out when you when you can. It's a great watch.
Or like we said, drop what you're doing.
Yeah, right. There you go. Cool. Before you wrap up, anything we're into this week?
Let's see. The only thing that I shouldn't say the only thing, but the big thing that I watched was there is a limited series, a small series on Netflix called Muscle and Mayhem. Okay. And it's about American gladiators. Okay. Now, when I was a kid, American Gladiators was one of the best. It was one of the most fun shows to watch.
Man down.
It was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, we made it this far. Yeah.
Good job, Flash. One of the best. It was a great show. I want to say it came out in the late 80s, early 90s. So I was still like a kid watching it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a live reality competition show. So all the stuff like American Ninja and all that kind of stuff, Wipeout. And they mentioned this, but it all came after these guys.
Yeah.
And just seeing a lot of stuff that was behind the scenes was incredibly interesting. So I think anybody that grew up watching American Gladiators, I would 110% recommend watching this series. It was fantastic.
Nice. I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah.
I will say I didn't watch much, but I started watching The Simpsons for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
New or old episodes?
The original first season. I'm just watching them from
That's
the
cool.
start because I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons as a kid.
Really?
I'm still trying to figure out why. Because I'm watching it now. I'm like, what really about this was that bad?
Yeah.
Like it's not like Family Guy level bad. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that time, that was the Family Guy
at the time. Yeah.
Of the day.
So I'm trying to understand why my dad was super against the show.
Yeah.
But there's some questionable things.
Yeah.
But
if you take into account, it came like in the 80s too, like the late 80s. So
so I guess that was pretty risky at the time.
It was.
Sure.
It was.
Yeah. So it's a little dated, but
big time.
I'm enjoying it kind of. So yeah.
I feel like I would if I were to go back and watch those old episodes, I would enjoy just because I grew up watching them and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, seeing the roots. And I think those episodes, I haven't seen some of the new, like the new episodes in a while. But those episodes, like those first, I don't know, like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years.
Yeah. Good
Those
stuff,
were gold.
Yeah.
Those were gold. I think Conan O'Brien was a writer on the show too.
Oh, shoot. Okay. So, yeah.
Man.
Classic.
Yeah.
Gold,
they were great. Like the stuff, I mean, the newer episodes, I can't remember the last time I watched one. I think I might have like kind of chuckled at 1 or 2 parts here and there. But, I mean, it's been going on way too long. I mean, I think they're close to like 800 episodes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to break some kind of record.
I think they're just trying to break some kind of record at this point.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know who is watching that show. I honestly don't. I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Who's making it at this point?
Yeah. It's a fucking AI somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah,
right on. Cool.
Other than that, yeah, I'm excited for Mission Impossible. I think this weekend. So.
Yeah, the 12th.
No, next weekend. Yeah, it's in the middle of the week, the 13th. Come on, Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to catch that when I can.
Nice.
Otherwise, that's it, though. Huh?
Yeah.
Did we do it?
Yeah, that's it.
We did it.
We did it.
As always, we did it.
Yeah, man. Check out this movie.
Yeah. And then read the comic book as well. It's fantastic. They're both really, really good. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, that's it, huh? Yeah. You can check us out everywhere, wherever. Thanks for checking us out. But you guys check out our old episodes, our shorts, everything else, our audio episodes. We're everywhere.
Friends, right?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We're on. Stitcher's going away. Stitcher's they're closed up shop.
All right.
So no more Stitcher by the end of.
So do we need to get on Thread or whatever that new shit is?
I've already started it. So,
did you?
Yeah,
nice.
I've already
Good,
gotten on it.
I don't wanna, but okay.
Right. Trying to stay on top of all the different trends.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought of too. I was like, this is another thing I got to get on.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. Just trying to figure it out. But I guess we're on Threads now. If you want to check us out there too. But yeah, we're everywhere else. If you guys can go to Apple, leave us a 5-star review. Spotify, where you can take 5-star ratings. Otherwise, check us out the Gots Pod. On Instagram and Twitter, wherever else.
All this stuff.
Yeah, otherwise, thanks for listening to us every week.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. My name is Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this has been
Geek Off The Street.
Yeah, doing some ninjutsu over there?
Trying to create the Chidori.
Oh, gotcha.
Chidori.